welcome to the Become Your Magic Power Hour. It is 7 p.m. and as often and always, I'm going to give you some time to get on so that you can be a part of the conversation. We meet here every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. in order to what? In order to inspire ourselves into a good relationship, in order to find out what is the magic power that we hold. What are the things that we possess that allows us to walk into our destiny, walk into our power. And so today we have a special guest, Miss Shamika Baptist, and she is actually going to be the foundation of what we're going to talk about today, because I decided, since we are having a guest, why not make today's Become Your Magic message called The Strength Within, because that is her book in which she learned to find her triumph through those abracadabra moments in which she recognized just how powerful she was. And so I'm going to give some time, like I said, for you guys to get on so that we can what? Like, share, and tag. Matter of fact, let me message some people. It is 7:01. I forgot my ring. Let me get my ring. So how are you guys doing? I hope you enjoyed yesterday's Become Your Magic Power Hour, right? Because it is about us really understanding that we dictate who we are. We dictate where we go once we begin to be able to control our emotion. And so on Monday, the idea was to what? It was to show up for yourself. On Monday, the idea was that we celebrated who we were. We celebrated the yes. We figured out what it meant to get a yes. And so before I start talking, like I said, the first 15 minutes, let me go on and share myself, because God knows I forgot to, here I go, found myself. So let me message some people, get them in so we can have what? A real conversation. So let me share it into my groups. There we go. Got that in. Tune in right now for the Power Hour, right? And for those of you, most of you will catch it later, I swear. I don't know how you guys catch it so fast by the time I get off. Tune in right now. Become your magic. I hope you guys are walking around saying, become your magic. Abracadabra, right? Because abracadabra is just you being able to create that tool. Find out what it is, that thing is that allows you to what? See yourself, celebrate yourself, walk in that thing that is you. Become your magic. So let me remind some people. I know today is the third day of the journey of Monday through Friday and being able to clock into you. And so the Power Hour was thinking about, what does power mean? We plug in our phones, and when we plug in our phones for that power, what we allow ourselves to get is that ability, right? When we plug our phones in, we allow our phones to get enough juice in order to what? Function at its highest capacity. And so while we power up everything, we plug in everything, that electric source. So God is the source, and every time we plug into him or each other, which we represent a piece of God, right? Every time we plug in, we give ourselves the opportunity. We get that energy in order to what? Empower ourselves into the next level, right? Empower ourselves to function on our highest capability. And so having the strength within is really about figuring out a way to function on your highest level, to figure out what is it that I can drive from, what is it that I can sew into, tap into, right? Plug into, that's going to give me the energy and the power I need to show up in my destiny, to show up in my assignment, to show up and actually walk like I won something, right? Because the strength within is about me understanding that everything I need comes from within myself. That if I know what I'm carrying, what I'm holding, oh my goodness, how how amazing you would be, what it means to be a treasure, to know what you're carrying, right? Okay, look, I did all that talking and then, hey, Kat, how you doing? So let me see. Let me find the Kia. Get some people in here because people be in their day and I understand, right? So we're going to get their names up in here so that we can get them started. But that's why I give that first 15 minutes to warm up the crowd, right? And so, okay, so I see. So as I was saying, what we need to recognize is that the power hour is about us really getting credit for clocking into us. I mean, in order for us to really function in our magic, in order for us to believe in the abracadabra that is us, and, in order for us to take those moments and turn them into opportunities, right? Because if you turn your moment into opportunity, that means you sat down and you made a decision, right? You created a plan. And so opportunities happen because we make the plans for our life. We create the stories we want to have, right? We create the understanding that help us get to our destiny, that help us find our strength within, right? That help us say that we are worth it. That we need to keep on pushing. Why do we need to keep on pushing? Because like we said yesterday, we walk by faith. And having faith means that I believe in who I see myself to be, right? I know that what I've been through is what makes me so amazing. It's what makes me so powerful, right? It's what makes me so great. And so greatness is born by you going through, right? By you understanding that it is a walk into our favor. It is a walk into our destiny. It is a walk into our stories. And so how do we know what we possess is by looking back, right? Like I said, just the other day, I Choose Me is about looking in the mirror, being able to face yourself, to look yourself in the eye and say, listen, I see you. I love you. I'm powerful, right? It's a I choose me thing. So until I'm able to look at myself, right? And when you look at yourself in the mirror, you realize that everything behind you is what you see when you look at yourself in the mirror. Beyond the mirror is just you. You don't know what's beyond the mirror, right? But when you look at the mirror, at yourself in your eyes, what you get to see is what's behind you. So nothing can sneak up on you, right? And so in order to embody that strength within, you have to be willing to look at the things that happened before, right? Because those are the warning signs, right? Those are the things that are going to get you prepared so that you don't walk into the same problems, creating the same illusions, right? It's about you learning, turning those lessons into blessings. And so when I look myself in the mirror, it's not that I forget about my yesterday. It is that I am empowered to make the better decisions today for me to walk into my tomorrow because I have the evidence of my strength within because of where I came from, right? The evidence of the days I got up when I didn't have it in me. The evidence of how my story became God's glory. The evidence of how what was supposed to break me, so you thought, was really instructed to make me, right? Because the who may kill you, but the what will always heal you, like you were designed. So that strength within was given to you from the moment you came here on assignment. You came here to be that special force. You came here to go through that thing, right? You were the solution because God said the ending came before your beginning. And so if your end is before your beginning, that means what are the solutions that is you, right? What did you come to solve? And how are you solving for X? And so these things that we go through in life are the ways we solve for X. That is how we find how much strength we have within ourselves. Because those X factors are those moments in your valley. Those X factors are the things that got you to where you are today. And so in order for you to solve for X, you have to get into relationship with yourself, right? You have to figure out, what is God showing me about myself? What is he schooling me on, right? Because we're all in the classroom of life right now. And everything we go through is for you, because your end was already created before your beginning. And so the dash in between is the lessons that you learn, right? They are your abracadabra. They are your moments in time that is the embodiment of the evidence of what you have created when you made the choices, right? So it didn't mean that life didn't happen to you. But when you got up and happened back to life, you become the dream, right? You become the abracadabra. And so shit happens to all of us. But when we begin to understand that we have so much power, that we get to happen to the things that happen to us, meaning we get to rewrite the story, meaning we get to turn that pain into power, meaning we get to be a water walker, right? Because water walking, if you think about it, is just the concept of being less dense. And one day when, we kept on talking about water walkers, and one day I was sitting on in there one day. Oh, hey, Star. Star says, mad I missed yesterday. I was in boot camp. Oh, but let me tell you something. That's a good thing about hashtag replay. You can replay it. But what I was saying is, I was thinking about the water walkers, right? And with the water walkers, what made it so amazing is that when you thought about the story of, I believe it was Peter walking to Jesus on water. Don't quote me on the name. Don't come back, you Bible thumpers. Listen, I'm not good with names. I'm good with stories, though. But, when I thought about him being able to walk on water, him looking at God and Jesus in the eye and walking toward him, to be a water walker was to let go, to believe in something, right? To have a faith. I have a faith in something. And so as you are walking by faith, right? And you want to become a water walker, meaning that you don't allow life to keep you underneath, right? Barely surviving, barely making above sea level, right? What happens is, as you're walking in life and you're carrying those things that you cannot change, right? That thing that God had already equip you to beat. And the reason why I know he equipped you to beat, because you are victorious, because you are on the outside of that thing, right? You are looking behind you. You are not sitting in that abuse. You are not sitting in that molestation. You are not sitting in that abandonment. You are not sitting in that rape. You are not sitting in that divorce. You are not sitting in that loss of a child. You are not sitting in that loss of a husband. You are sitting in the memory of a moment that you allow to carry in your pocket. And so yesterday when we talked about walking by faith, right, we spoke about how when the people get the aneurysm, right, the embolisms, right, it is because they begin to get blood clots, right? And the blood clots are formed because they haven't been moving enough, right? And to walk by faith, with faith as a seed of thought, the movement on where you're going is how you make sure you don't receive blood clots, right? Those blood clots will stop stuff from flowing to your brain, right? Or it will cause a blood clot to travel and hit a major artery, right? But the idea is that in life, we have spiritual clots, the things that hurt us, those things I spoke about, right? Those rapes, those abuse, those abandonment, the job loss, right? You lost your job, you lost your friend, you lost your relationship, you lost your marriage. All of these are different ways that we get blood clots in our life, right? Which stops us from moving. Those spiritual things that stop us from keeping on going, believing in that dream that's in our head, because that clot is stopping the flow of your belief system, right? So you're not getting movement, right? Because the walking, right, in your legs is what stops you from clotting up, so that you can be healthy, right? So that you can believe in what it is that you want. So if you don't let go of those situations, if you don't let go of the things that were actually molding you into your greatness, you begin to sit down, right? You begin to get complacent. You begin to give yourself excuses to why you can't be who you were called to be. And see, the object and the idea is that in order to become a water walker, you got to sit in those situations and say, that happened, but I am triumphant after it. That happened, but I can still reach high levels of me, right? That happened, but I'm still a boss. That happened, but I'm still great. That happens, but I'm still loved. And so we're learning to walk, let go of the things that we cannot change, right? Release it enough to look ourselves in the mirror, see that is behind us, just to give us the opportunity to see what's in front of us. Because when you look in the mirror at what's behind you, you got to always remember that God is always putting you in a reflection in first place. You hear me? So when you look at yourself in the mirror to identify with how amazing you are and how God loves you and how special you are and how everything you need you were already born with, how you were born enough, how the strength within will get you to your destination, to the dream that he has for you, right? To the secret he told you about yourself. And so when you begin to sit in that mirror, you realize that the things that are behind you that God has given you a rear view mirror on, that it cannot stop you because nothing is in front of you. Nothing is beyond that mirror. And so your dream for yourself is beyond what happened yesterday, because God is showing you that this is present and that yesterday is there. But who you are is beyond this mirror. Who you are is beyond where you are right now. Who you are is the dream that God has for you. Who you are is bigger than life. And so to have the courage to step in your story, to have the courage to look in the mirror, to have the strength to say, I'm worthy. You see this t-shirt that I got on here right now? It says, they whispered to her, you can't withstand the storm. She whispered back, I am the storm. Do you know how important it is to know what it means to be an I am? Do you know what it is to say, I am the storm? That means that can't nothing come against that which is at the same level. And so I will match what you bring because I have been equipped. This is my story. See, during the journey, you forget that you got what it takes. That is all within your decisions. That is how you see yourself. It's what you believe for yourself. It's what you really want for yourself. And so becoming your abracadabra, becoming your magic is becoming your supernatural force. It's acknowledging your experiences. It's traveling to the highest levels of yourself. It's loving yourself through it all. In order to what? In order to arrive. In order to be great. In order to love yourself to life. Right? Because that's what the journey is all about. It's about seeing yourself. It's about understanding that those I ams that we walk into, those I ams that we believe about ourselves, the way we get trapped in our yesterdays are the reasons we can't keep on moving. They are the reasons why we feel like we don't deserve the dream that we have inside of ourselves. But you deserve it. Why? Because you took a DNA test and you found out what? You are a child of God. You are favored. And when you begin to like who God created you to be, when you get over the process, right? When you get over what it took to walk into your yes, then you become your magic, right? You're not waiting for somebody to create the picture. You're going to close your eyes long enough to see it, and then you're going to open your eyes in time to be it. Your story is not a fairy tale. It is about you understanding that nobody comes down and makes your day what you need it to be. You get to do that. You get to do it by figuring out what God told you about yourself, by rediscovering the secrets, by taking a fine-tooth comb on your experiences so that you could really be like, well, what was that for? And what is God showing me? And what do I need to know about myself? And what is that strength going to help me do? Right? What evidence do I have of just how strong I am? Because that's that trust walk. I mean, you're going through these different situations so that God can see that you're trustworthy. You're capable. You're able. And the minute you have that courage, the courage to see yourself, the courage to be yourself, on authenticity, oh my God, it is the key. To be yourself, to be okay with what that looks like. Because you understand that everything you went through is what makes you so amazing. Because you understand that your story is what makes you so amazing. And so the question is, who are you? What does that look like? What have you been through? And what is somebody waiting to hear about you? How are you going to become somebody else's activation for their abracadabra, right? Because abracadabra is just what you say the moment you want to change something in an instant. So as I was saying yesterday, when you walk in your new you, right? When you begin to control your emotions by not reacting to everything and being a little bit more attentive. I say I struggle with that every day. Every day. I'm perfect in my God piece, but imperfect in the journey. Because the imperfect pieces of how I get to me is what makes me a molded, perfect God piece. Because God needed me to go that way. Because he needed me to shine my light on who he is, shine my light on the evidence, right? Because the evidence of you is because of how you showed up in your story. And so when people be like, oh, well, she did that and she was this and he was that and he was there. And then you look at them and you say, abracadabra. Because I changed right before your eyes. I became my own magic. And so when they want to remind you of yesterday, you shouldn't have no shame on that. You better look at them and be like, abracadabra, what you doing about yours? Because you look the same way today that you did yesterday. So at least I'm walking in my magic. At least I look different. That means I'm showing up. Because something that you work on consistently starts to look different. And so if you got vision boards and no action step, that's because you ain't about your abracadabra. So when they want to tell you about who you used to be, you better remind them of your abracadabra. That's right. I turned that thing around. I changed the story. You thought it was written, but I had to take the pen and rewrite because I'm the narrator of this story. Because God told me I got that much power once I know what I'm holding. And so we got to really walk through life like that. So that shame, honey, tell all the shit you used to do. Excuse my French. Tell them all that you used to do. Why? Because it gives God so much more evidence. I have a t-shirt. Where's my t-shirt? What is that other one? Dag, I'm trying to remember one of my slogans or one of the sayings I put on my t-shirt, honey. It be going through my head so much. But basically the idea is God is taking us each on a journey. And we are all working undercover for him. We all got a testimony. Because every time I change my story, every time I continue to become the miracle, every time I get up after that situation that you thought should have killed me, because that's what they whispering about. Girl, she's still going. Girl, she got the audacity to get up and be great after what I know about her. Audacity. No, it's called abracadabra. It's called abracadabra. So when you calling it audacity because I showed up in my fullness, because I turned that pain into power, because all the hell I've been through, I didn't take it for granted, that's called abracadabra. And so I think we got to stop diminishing our story because it takes away from the magic of it. The magic is in the essence of how you transform. That is the miracle of the story. You are the miracle. Your transformation is the miracle. It is the evidence that you can become your magic. It is the evidence that we got to stop waiting for stuff to happen for us. And that after God says yes, we got to walk in our yes. He said walk by faith. That means what you going to do with it? What you going to do with what I gave you? Who you going to be now? Because do you believe what they said or what I said? Who are you closer to? Because, we tend to believe the people that are closest to us, right? Because my husband came to me and told me somebody said something. I ain't going to question if he lying to me or not. because I trust him. So if God is telling you a secret that you are amazing beyond measures, that you are great, that the world needs your special peace, and you're stuck on what they said about you, when they don't know who you are, when they don't know what you've been called to be, when they don't know your soul print, when they don't know what it takes for your yes, they don't know the answer to that. So why are you worried about what they got to say when God already said it all? He gave you breath. The fact that you are breathing says that he said it all, that he made a decision. The question is, who are you in better relationship with? God, who said you are the I am, that greater things would come through you. God, who said that you are worthy. God, who said that you are the answer, who gave you breath, who took you through that way because he knew how special you were, that you were one of a kind, that nobody could bring the peace that you had. That God. But you worried about what they say. Change your relationship with yourself. Therefore, changing your relationship with God, honoring the peace that he gave you, finding the strength within, becoming your magic, loving yourself to life. That's what it's all about. And so I'm going to check this thing, make sure I don't got no comments before I introduce our guest that is coming on at the 30-minute mark. We are 26 minutes into, almost 3 minutes away from, because 26:31 countdown, baby. Almost 3 minutes away from a queen who is going to tell you how she became her magic, how she walked through and triumphed by finding the strength within, right? By sharing her story, by understanding that it was bigger than her, right? Because that's what it's all about. It's so crazy. When I be putting it in too many groups, I don't be knowing what's what. I can see comments here. I can't see the comments here. Oh, man. I'm learning, though. Okay, I'm getting some. Hey, Manny. Watching with you. Okay. Like I said, this is what this is all about. And so this 15-minute segment that come on at 7:30 every week, every day of the week, if you know, and you don't have to have arrived, because the celebration is in the process, honey. Once you get to the top, it's probably like over it. I don't know what the top is looking like. People be climbing and waiting to get to the top. Then you get to the top and you're like, okay, what's next? What's next is the next dream, right? And so I say, enjoy the climb. And so if you are in the midst of climbing, right, and becoming your magic daily, right, getting to your magic through your Abracadabra Daily, let me say, then I want you to come on and tell us your story. Tell us how you triumphed through your pain. Tell us who you are today because of what you learned on yesterday, because those testimonies are what is the light in people's lives. Those testimonies are the reason why people get to come up. When God said, let there be light, he was talking about you, because somebody is sitting in the darkness, because you were designed for such a time like this. Every time something is created in our time and you wonder, the reason why I know that it has been pre-designed before that person got here is because I don't see no baby geniuses curing stuff. I don't see no baby geniuses creating tables. What I see is people who have grown into their assignment, who have believed in who they are. So there is a process on your time. And so the older you get, the more you are ready. And so if you do something when you're 20, that means God had thought of you 20 years ago, because he knew that at this time you were going to show up. We got to understand that it is our responsibility to show up. So without further ado, I want to celebrate and invite on our special guest for today, Miss Shamika Baptist, who is going to tell us what are the moments of her abracadabras that brought her into the place where she was able to release her first, but definitely not last, book of triumph called The Strength Within. And so I want us to give a round of applause for Miss Shamika. Hello, Queen.
Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Thanks, Precious. Precious, thanks for having me. It's such an honor to be on this show. Thank you so much.
It's
Hey everybody. So as Precious stated, I wrote and self-published my first book, which is definitely not my last, and it's called The Strength Within. You can find it on Amazon. Um, a little bit about my book is I wanted to share my story with the youth in the foster care system. I want them to know and to understand that even though you're going through what you're going through of having to pack up your bags and living in a strange home, and you may have to move, and you may have to go through trials and tribulations, you may get abused, you may get neglected, you might get raped, you might get verbally abused, emotionally abused, physically abused. But I want them to understand that there's brighter days ahead, right? um Everything society told me I would be, I defied every last one of those odds. A little bit about my story is not only was I in foster care from 18 months to 18 years, in between the time I was adopted. And with my story, my foster situation was actually a lot, quote unquote, happier than my adoption situation. And so I have lived in it to where I was in foster care up until I was about 8 years old. I got adopted at 8, going on 9. I was adopted from that age until about 14, and then I ended up right back in the system. Um, Through all of that, I always prayed to God. I always asked God to give me understanding of why I'm going through this. I always wanted better. I always heard people say to me, "You're never going to be anything. You're going to be just like your mother. You're going to be this. You're going to be that." How do you know me? You don't know me. I'm not going to become that. There's a letter that I wrote to myself in my book. Um, I wrote it and it's called A Letter of Encouragement, and I would like to share it with you all. This is a letter that I wanted to write to my younger self. As a little girl, I always prayed to God. I always got on my knees. I always said, "God, please just help me figure it out. Please just why? Why am I going through this?" My letter is called A Letter of Encouragement, and I would like to share it. I want to dedicate this book to a beautiful little girl that lost her innocence at a young age. A beautiful little girl that grows up to be a strong, resilient woman. She doesn't allow her journey through the foster care system to handicap her. Hello, beautiful. I want you to know, and I want you to always remember that you are beautiful, amazing, and you are so vibrant. You are going to go through some things in life in which you will never understand, and you will have many fears. You will seem very lost, but you must always remember to keep your faith and find the strength within. You need to find the strength within to always persevere. You need to find the strength within to always remember that you are somebody and you will become somebody. I know your days will seem long. Your days will seem lonely. Your days will seem cloudy and gloomy. It will not be often that you see the sunshine, that you must always remember that there is a higher being. Your God has got your back. You see, God always gives his strongest soldiers the biggest battle. He will never give you anything that you cannot handle. He will never give you more than what you can handle. You must always remember that although you're going through these things and these moments, they are only your present situation and they will one day be a part of your past. Never allow the things that you're about to endure and the obstacles that you're about to face handicap you or hinder you. It's going to be easy to hate. It's going to be easy to be angry, but you got to always remember to keep the love in your heart. See, the love that you have in your heart will be the love that carries you in the days to come and the years to come. Because your heart remains pure, you will overcome all of your obstacles. You will receive a lot of guidance and a lot of advice throughout the years. In those moments, you may not want to listen. However, you must be mindful to keep these words of advice in the back of your head. For one day, you will need to use each and every last piece of advice that you were taught and given. Although it may seem like you'll never see sunny days again, baby girl, I'm here to tell you, you turn out all right. You turn out to be a beautiful, strong, resilient, vibrant, loving, kind hearted young woman. You're able to overcome all of your obstacles, all of the neglect, all of the abuse, all of the hate, all of the emotional abuse, the physical abuse, the sexual abuse, and the mental abuse. Because you keep loving your heart, the love is what's going to keep you blessed. The purity of your intentions with those around you is what's going to keep you blessed. One of the biggest pieces of advice that you were told was to kill people with kindness. What you'll understand in the years to come and as you grow older and wiser is that retaliating with anger and negative emotions will actually handicap you and hinder you more than it will help you. Although you're about to embark on a wild journey, your journey was meant for you. You will overcome all of the obstacles. They won't be easy, but they won't be hard as long as you find the strength within to turn your anger, hate, and resentment into strength. You'll soon realize that when you begin to turn your pain into power and not allow your past to define your present or your future, your life will turn around with such an abundance you will finally and truly begin to find true happiness. The happiness that you find will come from within yourself. I want you to always remember to stay true to yourself. Don't care what others think of you. For the opinions of what others think of you doesn't matter and is not your concern. The only opinion that matters is yours and God's. On that note, I want you to always remember to keep your head held high. Keep that love in your heart and stay true to yourself because you are beautiful and you are so intelligent and you are amazing. You are going to be somebody. You become someone so beautiful, humble, elegant, radiant, and charismatic. You turn into a beautiful mother with an even more beautiful child. Once you learn to finally find the strength within, your whole world will begin to change in such a positive manner. You'll learn many lessons the hard way. However, you very rarely will make the same mistakes twice. For the things that you are about to endure and the challenges you are about to face at such a very young age will give you the knowledge and the skills you need to grow to become someone amazing. The biggest thing I want you to always remember is your past does not define your present or your future. Baby girl, you grow up to be someone so beautiful. You are beautiful and you will be beautiful and you will stay beautiful because of the beauty that lies in your heart. You grow up to become a sassy, jazzy young lady. Your charisma and spunkiness will take you far. However, you must be mindful to always stay humble and kind. Embrace the moment. Dance like nobody's watching. Sing like no one is listening. And love like you've never loved before because your celebration is coming. I'm sure you're saying, she doesn't know me. However, darling, I know you all too well because she is me. And so I wanted to share my
Yes, wait
story.
a minute now. Because she is me. She is the abracadabra. And let me tell you something. That is a beautiful written letter to yourself, right? How often do we actually sit? Those are the celebrations in life, right? Those are the way that we honor our stories, how we honor our travel, how we honor just how far God has brought us, right? Because the evidence is you are a force to be reckoned with by what you've been through. And the more you go through, the more powerful your supernatural force. So understanding that becoming your magic is to be able to sit in your story and girl, you have earned the stripes. Abracadabra, I have blessed you. The ability to walk in any room when somebody says, who you think you are, Miss Shamika Baptist? Because you got a book, you think you all that? Abracadabra. Don't respond to them. Show up. Because that is what we are given permission for. To say that my soul print is my story. And how I show up in it, that's just my abracadabra. That's just my proof. And so we got to celebrate. So how many people were moved by Shamika's letter? Huh? No. Get out of here.
Hey. I wanted to share my story because I want these young children in the foster care system, and even if you are not in foster care or you've never grown up in foster care, I want people to understand that your past does not define your present or your future.
Mhm.
And we cannot allow our moments to handicap us, right? Because, like I tell people, it might seem like a lot, but it's just a moment. And one day, a moment will become a part of your past.
Mhm.
And so, are we going to allow this moment to handicap us? No. You have to embrace it and understand that it's just that a moment. Throughout all of my years of growing up, it was hard. I didn't have anybody to hug me and say, Shanika, it's going to be okay. And even the hugs that I was given, it wasn't pure. You're telling me that you understand, but you don't understand the fight that I'm putting up every day. You don't understand the suicide that I feel because I don't feel love and I feel neglected. And I'm saying, God, why? Why am I going through this? Why?
Because you're great.
And He had a purpose for me. And so my defiant moments, right? My defiant moments. When I was young, they looked at me like I was defiant. You're hard headed. You're defiant. No, I realize now that I'm older, those defiant moments, that was my strength.
Yeah.
That was my strength. That was my fight. I wasn't being defiant. God was ramping me up to get that strength, and I
You're
had that
fighting for
fight.
yourself. We got
Yes,
to begin to go to
yes,
war for ourselves. And when we get into relationship with ourselves, we know what to defend. And so until
yes,
we can figure out what it is we need, we don't know what it is we must defend. And so that
right,
relation, that I choose me, that strength within, it is about figuring out who you are so that you
right,
can figure out what it is you possess so that you can know what is that abracadabra, what is that
right,
wand, that special thing that God has given you, that anointing. That anointing oil is your tool. The abracadabra is what the magician has his wand right before he
mm-hmm,
says words, right? Because God says, speak it into your life. And so everything you want, you were willing and able to speak it. But like we said on Monday, after your yes, it is for you to get into what? Process for it. So you didn't say, I want to write a book, but you sat down and you wrote the book. And you sat down and you went through the steps in order for it to come to pass. And so if you're listening and you've been thinking about creating your book, if you've been thinking about putting yourself and saying, I'm tired of talking about what I want to do and I want to be my abracadabra. I want to start to create action steps to the yes. It's about you seeing what Shamika just did. She is the proof. And so what we do when we show up in our stories, when we show up in our evidence, is just to give you the understanding that God has no respect to persons. He respects the person who respects the person he created. Did you hear me? God has no respect of persons. He respects the person who respects the person he created. You are the person he created. So
if
tell
I
us,
can say,
where could we get that book from, girl?
So, and I know I have 1 minute, so real quick, I'm gonna answer your question. You can find my book, The Strength Within, by Shamika Baptist on Amazon. It is available in the paperback and the Kindle version. But I do want to say that, honestly, Precious, I've been speaking about a book, and to everybody, I've been saying I wanted to write a book. But honestly, if it wasn't for Precious and the I Choose Me movement, I would not have put it into play. I have so much anxiety and I have so many goals and dreams that I have. But with Precious, it was listening to Precious and following the I Choose Me movement. And that is what pushed me. Precious is what made me stop talking about it and being about it. Precious believed in me when I had skepticism about myself. So even though I found the strength within years ago, Precious is what taught me to find the strength within today and to put my strength into that abracadabra. Cause baby, I wrote that book. And I swear, if Precious wouldn't just, giving me the guidance and the wisdom, and with the I Choose Me moment, I swear I would have never wrote the book. Honestly, I had a story to tell,
We all do,
and
right? Come
and
on.
and it wouldn't have happened when it happened. So it's just an amazing moment. And you're right, this is not the first and the last. This is just the first. So thank
First,
you,
honey.
Precious. I love you.
The first to many. And where can they follow you at so that they can hear your messages? She's on Instagram, so tell them what your Instagram is so that they
I
can check it
am.
out for them
I
so they can
am on
follow you on
Instagram.
Instagram and listen to your lives when you can tell them more in depth some of your readings. And please go and get the book. I want you to understand that when somebody takes the time, right? These are the yard sales in life. When you are able, I got mine, right? Come on now. I got mine because this is how we show up in evidence, right? We show up by saying, I see you. Now, when you're doing something, people can support your magic. But don't hate
Mhm.
on somebody that's showing up in their magic. Sow seeds into people's ground, right? Because when it comes back around for you to show up in your time because you did the work, then people will celebrate you. When I think about the story of the lady in the Bible with the anointing oil, there was three major steps that God had for her. The first step was that she had the oil. So she had to identify the fact that what her oil was. So her story is her oil. This is Shamika's oil. Now, the second part the lady had to do, what he told her to do, was go borrow some pots. So take the gift that I gave you and then go borrow some pots. So that means you had to go get into relationships. So the relationships that you have built after I put something special in you because we grow together, right? When queens collaborate, when kings collaborate, when we come together, we create the picture of God. And so you borrow pots. And like she said, that was information, that was conversations, that was time, right? So she wasn't in my presence taking advantage of my presence. She was asking me questions. And hey, everybody knows I'm a talker. So if you ask me, I'm going to tell you. And so she took advantage of the time. We would have been talking about bull crap when we was in each other's presence, but it's about igniting one another, keeping our switch on, right? Inspiring them through your story. And so after she got the information, then he said, once you get those pots, I'll continue to allow you to have oil until you will run out of oil when you run out of pots. So after all the
Yes.
relationships you built, you have no more to borrow. Now you can fill up those pots. And I will continue to allow your gift to flow as long as you have vessels to pour it into, y'all. You hear me? And then after I bring you the vessels in order to pour in the gift that I have nurtured through you, now you go sell it. And so this is her sale. How much is the book, honey?
The book is $14 for the paperback.
14, $15 is a yard sale for all the hell it took her to write this book. Because while you see the pages, every page was her blood, sweat, and tears. Every story that we take lightly is a journey in who she has become. These are the secret abracadabra moments that had her arrive to where she is today. And so let's celebrate this queen. If you don't go on Amazon and you want to cash app her, the $15 plus $4, what is it? $3 for
Yes, so
shipping. How
yes,
much is
let me share that. So if it's on Amazon, you can purchase the book for $14. But if you would like me to personally sign it, for $20, that includes shipping, handling, and the book. You can cash at me at dollar sign Mika B13, okay, on Cash App. What I will do is you can cash at me. I'll get the book, sign it for you, personally write you a message, and then I will mail it to you. So that $20 includes shipping and handling, plus the cost of the book. You can also find me on Instagram at Mika underscore B on Instagram. I go live. Typically every Sunday at 9 o'clock. You can look for me, but if you follow me, you'll get that notification when I go live. So every Sunday, I've been trying to get a little bit more consistent with it, but you can find me on Instagram Live. I'm not on Facebook anymore, but on IG, Mika underscore D. As I stated, the book is $14 if you would like to do it on Amazon. If you want a Kindle, I also have the Kindle version for $9.99. But you can also cash at me personally. I will sign it, autograph it, and send it in the mail to you.
Amen. And that's what it is, honey. We got to support each other. We got to become the seeds, because if you wonder why nobody came and ate from your garden, it's probably because you never ate from somebody else's. And so we are a mere extension of what we want. And so be the word, be what you see, be what you want, show up in the word, right? And so when we become our magic, when we be that thing that we're looking for, then we ignite and we plant seeds that multiply in our life. And so please support this queen who was courageous in her story, who removed the shame and got in her lane, who has told you about her abracadabras. Let me tell you, I read this book. It was a page turner. It made me cry. It made me laugh. But most importantly, it made me proud that if I even inspired her to take it out of her head and write it down just so her legacy could be told. Whether you just make one book, honey, make sure that the people know your story. Be transparent, because when we tell our story, we become the evidence that God is talking about. We become the reason somebody else showed up. And so you are the light, and the light is within you. So let us be consistently supporting one another. Like I said, it's all about you. And so at this time, Mika, I'm going to put you back into the green room. We're going to end out this show. We got 8 minutes. We're going to pick our I am card. And well, matter of fact, I don't got to put you in the green room. You can stay on. Come on. So we're going to figure out what the I am. So every day you know that this is the ABCs of how special I am. And this is us finding a word every day to what commit to, because it ain't about what you ain't, it's about what you am. And what you am is something special. And so this game you can find at preciouspaulin.com. Every day I'm pulling a card. So right now, this is just day 3. You guys at the beginning of this dream that God gave me. I'm just so honored to be just here. So let's see.
Can I pick a card?
So
Can I pick a card?
Well, you tell me. I'm going to spread it out. Tell me which card.
Yeah.
I'm going to move my hand and you tell me when to stop.
Yeah, you ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? Stop.
Stop. What's that say, y'all?
I am the promise.
Come on now. Come on now. And so today's word is I am the promise. And so, you know, at this time when we do, before we end the show of Becoming Your Magic Power Hour, I want to leave you with an affirmation that reminds you of the I am that you are, an affirmation of the promise. That means that you are somebody's solution. You are the answer. To be the promise means that you are the thing that you're waiting for, the thing that you're dreaming on, where you're trying to go. And so the promise lies within you. Like the story is yours. What you make of it is yours. And so this whole becoming your magic, right? Realizing that abracadabra is about transforming right before your own eyes, right? Right before your mirror. Being able to embrace your yesterday in order to be present today so that you can move into tomorrow. Because being the promise is about celebrating the fact that you believe in what you see for yourself. And you understand that in order to be it, you first must see see it. And you got to close your eyes long enough to see it, but you got to open your eyes long enough to be it. And so the promise is about how you follow through with your yes. So God has promised you many things. And the answer is always yes. The question is, are you going to get an action for your attraction? Are you going to turn those pains into power? Are you going to sit down and remind yourself of what makes you the promise? What makes you the impact? What makes you the light? I want you to sit down today, or when you go in the mirror to brush your teeth before you go to bed, I want you to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself what makes you the promise. Why people are so in love with you. Because while we got people who don't care for us, we got plenty of people who do. And so we concentrate on the things that matter, then we begin to matter. Because those are the seeds of thought that implant us so that we don't get those spirit clots in our life, right? Those things that hold us back, that stops the blood from flowing so that we can walk into our dreams and our thoughts. And so God has given you a thought. You are the thought. You are the promise. The question is, are you willing to walk by faith? Meaning walk out those things that you've been through so that those spiritual clots can dissolve by you being in rooms with people who inspire you, who enlighten you, who impact you, so that those clots can be the blood thinners in your life. So people's testimonies are your blood thinners. The question is, are you getting in a room with the blood thinners so that the things that hurt you in life is not clotting up and stopping you from walking into your power, from walking into your assignment? You got to walk into your assignment by recognizing that you are the promise. And so, we got to end with our song. So we're going to play this song. I want you to listen to the words. I want you to listen to the beauty in it. And I want you to hear it so that you can understand what it means to I choose me, what it means to become your magic, what it means to walk in your assignment, to I choose me with no more excuses. Okay? So here we go. Have you ever found out? Come on now. Just where you could be. Ever took the time to discover what life is. All the treasures you were born with. The world needs to see.
The world needs to see.
Come on now. To dare to just be. I choose me.
I choose me. No more.
I'm enough.
I am enough.
More than worthy.
I'm more than worthy. I choose me. I own my stuff.
No more excuses. I'm enough. And don't forget the gear for today. Go to I Choose Me Bling Boutique. This could be yours. More than you can stand. Come
More
on,
than you can stand.
On uncharted land.
From uncharted land.
Was one of a kind.
Was one of a kind.
Then what will we find?
Then what will we find? I choose me. I choose me.
I'm enough. Like, share, tag,
choose
friends
me.
every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m.
I choose me.
Your magic hour. Who want to give their testimony tomorrow? Let's celebrate each other. The pain brings you more. More of those questions answered. So what
makes you
the good and bad on my plate?
I choose me. No more excuses. I choose me. I am enough. I choose me. Not more than worthy. I choose me. I own my stuff. I choose me.
That through all these things,
through all these
after
things,
pain comes triumph.
From triumph.
Stay in your lane. Come on now.
In your lane.
The lessons was blessings on the journey to you, because your purpose was found in the things you went through. I choose
me. I'm more than what I choose me. I own myself. I choose me.
I choose.
I choose me. I own myself. I choose
Live
me.
your story and
Moving
the shape
the
of
shape
your
of your
goal.
man.
When you reach your purpose, a message of
And
inspiration is told. Love grows everything. Come on now. In all that you do, in order to give it out, it must first be in you.
I
Your dreams will be fulfilled when you choose to walk in your life. And the love that's inside will be the fuel for your flight. I choose me, no more
I'm
excuse.
mad.
I choose,
I choose me. I own myself.
I choose.
I choose me. I'm more than worthy.
Come
I
on.
choose me.
I own my stuff. And so that's what it's all about, is about choosing you, owning your stuff. Remember, it is a relay race and somebody is relying on you. And it is up to you to understand that love grows everything. So remember, this is all about how you're moving, what you want. So remember, this is the Become Your Magic Power Hour, where we take the time to celebrate all the abracadabra moments that got you to this point. Remember, you are something special. The world needs what you have. If you would like to sow a seed into what I do from day to day, please go to preciouspaulin.com and you can find books and products and programs to sow a gift. If you would like to get some clothing, you can go to I Choose Me BlingBoutique.com. If you already have that and you thought this message touched you and you just want to plant a seed into my life, as you understand, this is how I do what I do. Why? Because I'm an entrepreneur. So every day I show up, it's about me showing up in assignment and us being able to grow together. So if you just want to send a love offering, you can Cash App $P words or PayPal Precious P words at AOL.com. Remember, you can never turn on anybody else's light, but you can provide enough light for them to find their switch. So it is your responsibility to stay lit in this world so somebody can find their way out of the darkness. Thank you for tuning in to the Become Your Magic Power Hour with the queen of soul stirring inspiration, Miss Precious Paulin. I'm so grateful to spend this hour with you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. As I said before, if you're interested in being the guest at the 7:30 mark, please message me, text me, email me so that I can give you a link and you can be our next guest sometime in the weeks to come. Love you guys, celebrate you guys, and remember to keep them soul prints going, right? Keep that light shining. Keep on loving yourself. Bye-bye. I choose me. # no more excuses, because you were born enough.